Cornish Game Hen on the Traeger, and I know I've done that before, but this one I'm gonna stuff and I'm gonna inject it. So we're using the stuffing that I had left over from my stuffed zucchini video. You can go back and look at that. That was fabulous. I'm gonna stuff it with that, and I'm also gonna inject it with that Honeycrisp apple beer. And it's a Honeycrisp apple wheat beer. So if this inspires you to stay with me, and I certainly hope it does, go down in that show more box below, hit the like button over on my Facebook page. I provided a link to that, a link to my Wild Tree website, and a link to today's shout out. Today's shout out is gonna go out to Greg over at BallisticBBQ. This guy can barbecue like nobody's business. He is just amazing, and he's a very creative cook. You'll see things over there that you might not see anywhere else on YouTube. So I hope it inspires you to go check out his channel, subscribe to him, tell him I sent you, and Greg, keep up the good work. I love every video. Come on, let's go do this cook. All right guys, I'm super glad you stayed for this because this is gonna be delicious. I'm gonna step away from the solar oven because it's a little later in the day today. Otherwise I would do this in there. But I'm gonna get back on the Traeger and I'm gonna do a little bit of smoke and then turn it up and grill off this beautiful Cornish Game Hen. And I was gonna do this stuffing that I made for the zucchini the other day, well, day before yesterday. And I thought, you know, I'm gonna save that and stuff this Cornish Game Hen with it because again, it just says fall to me. So I've got what would have been 2 little muffin cups or 3 muffin cups of stuffing in there. I'm gonna just stuff right in this bird. Because if you've never had a smoky flavor on stuffing, you haven't lived. It's so good. It's so good, and I don't know what it is, but bread stuffing tends to, or even cornbread stuffing, tends to really grab the smoke. So I've rinsed and patted this bird dry. I'm just gonna get all that, and that's a perfect amount of stuffing. This will be a couple of meals for me for sure. And remember that stuffing, you can go back and look at that video. It's on the stuffed zucchini, but it had apples and beer and chicken stock, sweet onions, bacon, kale, garlic, all that good stuff. Okay, and I used that apple beer. So what I'm gonna do now is rinse my hands really quick. And we'll go ahead and move this out of the way. And what I like to do is I'm gonna take this beer, and this is a apple crisp or Honeycrisp apple ale. Or apple wheat. It's a wheat beer. So I'm not really a beer drinker, but I've got to use this 6-pack of beer up somehow, so I might as well cook with it, right? And then I've got a little container here. I'm going to pour some, maybe a tablespoon of my Wild Tree roasted garlic oil, so I can baste that on the outside. Maybe not even a tablespoon necessary. I go through enough of that. I buy it by the half gallon, and it was on sale last month, half off. I couldn't not buy it. So if you guys have ever seen these are the injectors, and it's just a big syringe. Sometimes meat will dry out a little bit when you put it on the smoker. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna inject this with some beer. Huh. Why not? There's no rules against it. I got a lot of foam in this one. You might want to let your beer get flat. I don't know. So it's going to mirror what's in the stuffing because there is beer, the same beer in the stuffing. Ooh, it looks like this side was working out at the gym. Little bird got a workout. And I think it'll help keep the meat really moist. Cracks me up when it just puffs up like a little Popeye. Okay, so I've got her all plumped up. Look how fat she is now. And you don't want to reuse this because I double dipped on that syringe, so you just toss that down the drain. You could actually leave it in the smoker if you wanted to for moisture. I'm going to go ahead and slather this little girl. And it says hen, so to me that says girl, with some of the garlic oil. And that's just so my seasoning can stick. So she's getting a nice massage. And I've got California style garlic and my rancher steak rub. And I'm just gonna sprinkle that on, and that oil allows that to stick, as well as making this bird non-stick for the grill. Grapeseed oil has a high smoke temp. When you get it expeller pressed, it's a high smoke temp of 419 degrees. So you can actually season your grill with it and nothing will stick to it if you season it. Okay guys, as you can see, I've got this Cornish Game Hen stuffed in the Traeger, and I put some crookneck squash beside it. We're also going to have really delicious green beans and zucchini alongside this, and probably, you know, honestly, one Cornish Game Hen weighs about 1.5 pounds. It should serve 3 people without a doubt. So that's what we're gonna do, and I'll bring you back. I'm gonna slow smoke this, and at the end I'll turn it up to medium or high and get it going again. So, oh, don't leave now, because it's gonna be delicious. All right, guys. So this is the end result of this beautiful stuffed Cornish Game Hen. It's stuffed. I've got some squash on the side. I am actually gonna make myself up a plate, and you guys are going to be so impressed. I hope so anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half. I'm going to grab one of these beautifully smoked yellow squash. That's going to go on my plate. I've got some of this stuffing. I want to see what you can see. I've got this beautiful stuffing that's here. Look at that. Just absolutely gorgeous. We'll take some of that out of the cavity and put it over onto the other plate. And it should have that smoky flavor as well. And it stayed really nice and moist. Absolutely fabulous. You want to get your poultry to about 165. There's some carryover temperature going on, which is really good. So, you know, we know that it's well done. And I just kind of wiggle this leg. And when it pulls like that, that bird is done. There's nothing going to hold me back from that. So, you might have some pink interior meat because of the smoke, the amount of smoke that we did. So I just get down to where that thigh bone connects. Kind of twist your fork a little bit and you'll get that thigh right off there, because everybody likes that thigh meat. It's a really dark and juicy meat. I've got a little piece of the thigh meat, and I've got a piece of the leg meat here. I've got some of the squash, some of the stuffing. And this is, you know, I did this baked crispy zucchini with pesto and yogurt. You guys already know that recipe. You can go back and look at that video. It's our favorite. So I'm going to taste this little bit of stuffing I have, which is probably too much, but I'll take a bite of that. It's sweet and savory. So good, with a little back hint of smoke flavor. And here's my smoked and seasoned yellow squash. That's fabulous. That skin kind of gets leathery on you when you smoke it like that, and the inside's all soft and delicious. So this is one of the little game hen legs And remember, I injected this with some beer, so we'll have to see how that came out. It looks really moist, so let's try that. Make sure you can see what I'm doing here. Check that out. Little tiny leg. It's like a chicken wing, only not as much fat. Wow. That kept that really moist. Moist, tender, delicious. I'm gonna cut into this thigh, and you can just see how moist that is. And I know that the breast meat is just as good. So that being said, I hope this inspires you to hang in there for one more bite. Oh wow, on that bite I definitely got that little bit of apple flavor from the beer, and you could tell there's beer somewhere in the recipe. It's both in the stuffing and in the meat. So if this does inspire you, I hope that you go down in the description box below, hit like on my Facebook, go over and check out my Wild Tree website, as well as checking out any other link that I've given you and today's shout out. All right guys, so if it does inspire you and I see you next time, hit that subscribe button so you get notified whenever I upload. Anyways, we'll try to come up with a really good recipe for you next time. And as always guys, I'll see you next time.